Principal Bob, the electric principal, and I am coming to you from Fort Collins, Colorado. And we're in the Horsetooth Reservoir just above the city of Fort Collins. And I am telling you folks, this is one magnificent place to come and visit. So if you ever get a chance, come and visit me out here because it is spectacular. Bring your electric cars because we have chargers around the area and you can get here. And it's well worth your time. But let's get to the topic at hand, and hopefully you can take your eyes off the scenery here for a minute, and let's focus on the brand new IONIQ 5 2025 updated to the max. And I tell you what, I am blown away by the quality of the car coming out of a new factory. It's spectacular when I look at the fit and finish. And more importantly, I'm going to go through the 10 things that I truly love about the new 25 IONIQ 5. And I think when you take a look at it, you will too. So the first thing is the layout of all the technology and the screens. Way improved in so many ways. You could do an entire video, 30 minutes, on just some of those changes, but I'm just going to pick one that I think is simple, elegant, and should have been done with the original model. And that is that when you push the drive mode button, it doesn't just go through your standard eco mode, normal mode, and sport mode. They've added a custom mode to that, where you can set up your IONIQ 5 just the way you want, similar to what you could do on the IONIQ 6. That had that feature, but now it's on the IONIQ 5. And more importantly, you're not giving up snow mode to get it. In the IONIQ 6, you're either going to be in snow mode or you're going to be in your custom mode. No way. What we've done is added snow mode to that list of the previous 4 functions. And so you no longer have to press down the drive mode button and get yourself into snow mode. And if you didn't know what the drive mode button was and hold it down a couple seconds, you might never see the snow mode. That was the problem with the design. You know, you have all the other modes, you just kind of click right through, it goes through one right after another, and then for snow mode, you got to do something completely different. Press and hold it down. It didn't make sense. Well, they fixed that problem, right? So we took a complicated menu and made it simpler. They have done that in so many areas, that it makes it easier for people to learn how to drive this car. And if you rent one, you'll be able to see that right away. You won't have to, try to figure the car out as you drive, which too many people who rent cars have to do because nobody gives them instruction. And to be honest, I think they're doing more harm to the movement towards electric car than good. The other thing I want to mention is that the main display has a trip odometer in it, right? We've always had that. But you had to go through a bunch of menus to get to separate areas of things that are important for drivers to do. That's the issue with it. For example, what you would do is, you could see your mileage and your miles per kilowatt after you recharge your car. You could see it, for example, for the immediate drive you were on, and then for accumulated. All right, and that's it. To get anything else, you had to go to another menu. Well, they solved that problem. They simplified it. Now they've put in things like the power distribution, how much energy is coming to the wheels or how much energy is being regen back to the battery in one of the menus. In addition to that, you've got a nice little range guide in there that will show you, your minimum and maximum range. Nice little touch. It's a nice little graphic. You've also got your tire pressure in that same menu. So these were things that were scattered hither and thither and made it difficult to operate the car. And now they've combined them all into one menu. There are dozens of examples in this car of where Hyundai has done that. And I will do a video on that sometime where I'll go through them all. The other thing I want to mention is that we've got a roof rack now on top where you've got bars built in. And you could put a roof rack on. And in a state like Colorado, with the scenery you're seeing here, people want to put their skis on top. They want to put extra baggage on top. They kill their mileage, I know. It absolutely kills your mileage in your range. But in Colorado, you want to do that. And we have enough chargers going up into the mountains that you can get away with that charge and still make it to where you're going with your roof rack. I'd recommend that you get bars that you can easily take off so you don't damage your range 24/7. But I like it that they've added that feature to this car. The other major item that they added was battery preconditioning with a touch of a screen button. Very nice. No more going through the clunky GPS system to find a charger, pick a charger, get guidance to that charger, and then if you meet all these conditions, battery conditioning mode kicks in. Not anymore. Push a button, it starts. And it will stay on until it's done. And you can actually push that button in your garage, lock your car doors using your app, and let your car precondition for 20 or 30 minutes before you leave. That's a nice feature so that if you have to go out and charge because you forgot to plug in that night before, your battery's warm. And your car's going to run more efficiently. So kudos for Hyundai making that most important change. Now we have buttons in the center console. And that new center console is fantastic. It's got a nice pad for charging your phone. It's got a little meter that measures that you're actually getting electricity into your phone. You know you're connected. You've got your heated and cooling seats right there. You've got your camera system right there that you can turn on. It's so nice. They cut out another menu. Now we don't have a menu on the screen that you have to go into to turn on your heated seats or your heated steering wheel. And that's one of those little things that, it's not a big deal, but it is just nicer. It's simpler. Anytime I can see a real button, I'm happy, versus going through a couple of menus on a screen. It's just simpler. Furthermore, they put in heated seats in the back in both the SEL and the limited editions. I mean, that is so nice. And it's really nice for the simple reason that, hey, it's all about saving energy. And when you don't have heated seats in the back, you've got to keep the overall ambient temperature higher in the car in order to keep people in the back seat comfortable. So that's great. And unlike a lot of other car companies, they didn't just put it in the high-end model. They put it in basically the SEL as well as the limited. The biggest complaint, which I never really understood that well, but to each their own, is we have finally got a rear windshield wiper on the back of the car. And I would strongly suggest that if you ever have the pleasure of passing up a 22, 23, or 24 IONIQ 5, just turn on your rear windshield wiper and show it off. Because I'm going to guarantee you, there's a lot of jealous people. They wish they had that rear windshield wiper. So another thing that they did that's good is they put in a button to the left side of the cockpit area here, where if I push it, it will release the charging door. Just a nice convenience. I like it. Now you can open up that charging door by pressing on it. And some cars, it's kind of hard to do that. It takes a lot of strength. But you can also do it with your key fob. You can do it with a voice command by simply saying, open my charging door. It'll open up. Lots of ways to open up that charging door. But it's nice that we have one more. They brought back all the features they took out of the 24 SEL. The lower trim model from the limited. When Hyundai was handing out tons of money and I mean tons of money, because the Korean car didn't qualify for tax incentives other than if you leased it. And that was a long, complicated process. But if you bought one, it didn't really get tax credits compared to cars that were made in America and met the standards of the law. All right. So Hyundai, put kind of a clothy type material in there. Some people really like that. I did not. They took out the ambient lighting. They took out the folding side mirrors. In general, the car had a much cheaper feel to it than it originally did. And, I wasn't necessarily a fan of all those changes. But you can't give all this money away more than you planned on when you designed a car and priced it, right? I mean, all of a sudden we're having a fire sale because you've got to keep up with cars that do get those tax incentives. Well, they're back now. The SEL trim is back. The car is made in America. And Hyundai decided to put a lot of things, including the folding mirrors, the nice seats, all those things into this car. And so I appreciate that. Not only do you get all the features they added to all their cars, you get those back in the SEL trim. So the other thing that was improved is battery size, right? We went from a 77.4 battery to now an 84 kilowatt battery. That's going to get you, on a good day, 20 more miles. That's what I figured. That doesn't seem like maybe that's important, but it does if you're running out of fuel and you're looking for a charging station. So I'm glad they made the battery a little bigger. I wish it was even bigger, but that's where it's at, and it's an improvement that I truly appreciate. They put in an AX charging port, and folks, that is the wave of the future. That train is rolling, and it's not going to stop. Every manufacturer is going to adopt this at one time or another, and you're going to see CCS ports on cars literally disappear. So I'm glad that Hyundai jumped on this, didn't wait around, put in a native port. Can't wait till they open up the 22s, 23s, and 24s to that Tesla network, because I look at it as a win. Right now I can go to places where it isn't charger heaven, like much of Colorado, where I can find a decent CCS, but there are Tesla 250 kilowatt chargers there, and I can use it. And you know what? I put on an adapter on a CCS charger from Electrify America, and I'm charging at blazing speeds. I haven't lost a thing. And people have to remember that when the V4 chargers are fully installed in a lot of places from Tesla, and they open those things up to 1,000 kilowatt charging, when that day happens, guess what? My 800 volt architecture is going to be smoking hot, and it's going to charge incredibly fast. So all Hyundai has done is really lead the path towards the future by putting this thing in now and biting the bullet. So in general, those are the 10 things that I really like about the 25s, except for one thing we haven't mentioned yet, and we're going to cut away from this to get that done. Now the moment you've been waiting for, my nitpick. And I got a nitpick with every car I've ever owned, all right? And I know this is a first world problem. I'm going to say that right off the bat. But one of the things that continues to bug me about this car is that every time I shut it off and I leave the car, I come back, I've got to turn on my heated seat and my heated steering wheel. I have to do it every single time. I want it to be like my Lightning, my Ford Lightning, where when I turn everything off and I come back and turn the car on, it's all there. Is that too much to ask for? Now, I know that in general, Hyundai has the belief that we are just going to set everything back to normal every time you leave the car. And yet you've got your buttons to control where your seat is when you buy a limited. And yes, you've got settings inside the car that you can, make sure you've got your favorite radio stations listed. But all I want is a heated seat and a heated steering wheel in the winter. And you know, if I turn those things on, the odds are when I go shopping and I come back, I'm still going to want those on. And I'm an old guy, so I forget. I really do. It's mind-numbing how many times I forget to just turn those on. I drive about a half mile down the road and I realize I am cold, and then I turn them on. So let's make that little change. Thank you for joining my channel. I really appreciate it. I hope you subscribe. I hope you keep this work going. I have worked quite a few hours. Roberta tells me I worked quite a few hours the last 4 or 5 days since the drop of the IONIQ 5 25 version, because I wanted to get that information to you. Couldn't be more pleased. I've driven 4 different cars practically on 4 different days. There isn't a rattle in any one of them. There was no problem surfacing in any one of those cars at all. And you know, I can't say that when the new 23s came out of VW in America, because those cars had all kinds of issues, fit and finishes, doors didn't work right, windows didn't fit. You could see all kinds of flaws. And I've looked at 7 of these cars so far that all came to Crossroads Hyundai. And I am pleasantly pleased with the quality because the Koreans know how to build cars these days, folks. They really do. They give you a lot of technology for the money. You know, I drove the Buzz last week. I love driving that thing. That's another quality machine. But you know, the Koreans just keep moving forward and they keep making better and better cars. You know, there's a reason why Hyundai always wins Car of the Year, whether it's the IONIQ 6, the IONIQ 5, or now the N version, because they pay attention to detail. And you know, I also think that every 2 or 3 years, they really improve their cars. A lot of times, you know, hey, so that's the end of the video. Thanks for joining me today. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I would love that. Show your appreciation for the work we're doing here. We're going to see you shortly with another video regarding the 25 IONIQ 5. See you later.